Well, in case you hadn't noticed, there's quite a bit of economic news that is going on, and in this video I'm going to be talking about why XRP has bucked that trend and has increased in value over 30% in the past couple of weeks. Now, this is in the face of what the rest of the cryptocurrency market is doing. This is in the face of what the Fed just did earlier today with its new rate hike announcement, and it's in the face of what Ethereum has been doing in pumping its switch to proof of stake. And I'm going to be talking about what the SEC actually has to say about that. So there's a lot to unpack in this video, so let's get to it. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now I'm covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, but I'm also covering cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, make sure you hit that subscribe button, join the Late Night Grind community, and as always, if you would do a couple of things, I'd appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button, watch this video to the end. If you do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. Alright guys, let's jump into it. So to explain why we have a rise in the price of XRP currently, there's a couple of things we need to unpack. So first, I'm going to be talking about what Jerome Powell just said today and the announcement that the Fed, the United States Fed, is going to be raising rates yet again. Now, this isn't exactly a shocker. They've actually been talking about this more seriously in the past couple of weeks, but they've also been hinting about the fact that they need to get more aggressive in getting inflation under control for the past several months. Now, some analysis that I've seen said they probably should have done this several months ago, back in May or June, but regardless, they're continuing to raise rates. Today's announcement of a 75 basis point raise made the markets act like Bitcoin. Now, if you remember years ago, there used to be a commercial where everybody said, "I'm Tiger Woods, I'm Tiger Woods, I'm Tiger Woods, I'm Tiger Woods." Well, today, everybody was Bitcoin. The Dow, the S&P, even the dollar was extremely volatile, acting like cryptocurrencies. The interesting thing was that, of course, Bitcoin acted like Bitcoin, and the rest of the crypto market did as well. And not only that, XRP did. It had its own time of volatility. But the interesting thing was, XRP is up since that announcement, while pretty much everything else is down. Now, what does this announcement mean in terms of the macro end of things? Well, number one, Jerome Powell basically signaled that the next year is going to suck for the housing market. If you are hoping to be a flipper, if you were hoping that brand new house that you just bought was going to gain value, increase in value, well, it ain't going to happen in the next year or possibly two. The good news is that if you have some cash saved up, that could be put to good work in the next 6 to 18 months, as the housing market could drop as much as 20%. At least that's what the Fed says. I've seen some analysis that say it could drop as much as 50%, but that could be a doom and gloom scenario. So regardless, we have that as the backdrop. What's going to happen to the rest of the investment markets? Well, at this point, nobody knows. Decades ago, they would say, well, it's going to cause major catastrophic market crashes. Well, nowadays things are a little bit weirder, because it seems like the more bad news we get, the more the markets increase. Because people think that, well, if the Fed is getting incredibly aggressive at fighting inflation, it's going to be bad for the markets. But in the long term, it's going to be good. So people take their money and they put it in the market now. It's really, really strange. So not only do we have that as the backdrop, we need to keep that aside right now. I want to talk about what the news about Ethereum that just came out and its potential to be a security, what that could mean for the cryptocurrency market, what that could mean for SEC's control, and are they trying to go after something else? Because this Ripple case could be slipping out of their hands. And is that actually going to be considered a security, since it moved from proof of work, like Bitcoin is, to a proof of stake consensus mechanism, which enables people and incentivizes people to lock up their Ethereum for a certain period of time. And what the SEC just said should actually scare you. Now, if you follow the cryptocurrency world, anything the SEC says, you kind of have to take with a grain of salt. But at the same time, they are really putting on a push for control over this. Now, if you've been following my channel or other crypto channels, you know over the past year, the SEC, the CFTC, they've been having big battles back and forth, mainly through things like interviews and statements and things like that. Nothing in terms of concrete laws, in terms of who actually gets control over the cryptocurrency markets. But nonetheless, they're still having that battle, and they may end up having that battle in Congress after the midterms this November in the US. So the shocking thing that was going around Twitter earlier today and for the past couple of days was the statements that the SEC made regarding Ethereum and its switch to proof of stake, and that it now could be considered a security. Now, wouldn't that be kind of the ultimate troll? If you're an XRP follower, if you're a Ripple fan, you've been rooting for Ripple to win this case, for XRP to spike in price, kind of just to troll the Ethereum maxis that, well, they've been pushing for their share of the market to be taken from XRP, which for the last 2 years, it pretty much has. However, Ethereum being considered a security and potentially now being investigated and gone after by the SEC for securities fraud might not be a good thing. According to John Deaton, what the SEC is saying is that Ethereum could be considered a security because they have a certain percentage of nodes that are located here in the United States, which in their view now puts Ethereum within their jurisdiction. So what John Deaton is saying, hold on, this is extremely dangerous because what the SEC just said is that, well, if any node or consensus mechanism is hosted here in the United States, that gives the SEC jurisdiction over that entire cryptocurrency. That is an incredibly broad overreach. That is why Stuart Alderati, which is Ripple's general counsel, has been pushing back against that, which is why now the CFTC is also pushing back against it, which is why now the Digital Chamber of Commerce is also now pushing back against that. So that's definitely going to be one story that we're going to be following. Now, what does this have to do with the price of XRP and why it's rising 30%? Well, not only do you have rising volume on XRP, if we look at the chart behind me, that's XRP, the volume of XRP has been skyrocketing. If we look back, especially in my videos the past couple of weeks, even month, there have been hundreds of millions of XRP that have appeared to be being bought by whales. They're being moved off of exchanges. They're being moved onto unknown wallets. They're not being used by the on-demand liquidity system, although there is a ton of XRP also being shifted to the on-demand liquidity system. And that brings me to my last point about the Ripple versus the SEC case and what this effect could have on the price of XRP. Because as of a couple of days ago, both the SEC and Ripple Labs and Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson filed their statements of summary judgment, their summary judgment briefs to the judge. And from what the analysis that I've been watching has been saying about this, is that at least according to Jeremy Hogan, Ripple took a completely different approach than what he thought and what many people thought. And Ripple actually went after the legal definition of an investment contract. They went after the current statutes and the previous statutes of definitions of investment contracts, whereas the SEC statements more so went after Ripple's marketing efforts and their actions by Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. Now, in the words of Jeremy Hogan, he thinks that Ripple's strategy went ahead and swept the legs out of the SEC statement. Okay, so what are we going to be waiting on now? Because we didn't hear anything to do with the Bill Hinman emails or anything to do with the speech or anything like that from Ripple whatsoever. And there was a reason for that, because right now that is still up for judgment by Judge Torres. So Ripple didn't even go there, and of course neither did the SEC. But nonetheless, there has to be a decision made on that, and if Ripple needs to go there and continue to go after those emails and continue to use the fair notice defense, well, they will need to if the summary judgments don't go their way. It looks like there is some more judgments that need to come before we can move into the next steps of this case. But right now, these summary judgment briefs, from the analysis that I've seen, look like they, of course, favor Ripple, which has been going on since this case has been going on for the past 2 years. So we're going to be following this very, very closely, and I think all of those things that I just mentioned all have a part in why XRP has been climbing over 30% just in the past week or so. Not only is the news seemingly to go in their favor, them being the only one bucking the trend in the cryptocurrency world also draws interest from other buyers. Also, the fact that the summary judgments look like they favor Ripple. And not only that, some of the potential bad news for Ethereum also has a part to play in that. So all of these things that I mentioned are all big stories, and I'm going to be following up and making videos about all of them individually because they all play their part. However, right now it looks like XRP is going to be moving up. The RSI is strengthening, and it's definitely going to be one to watch. All right, guys, I really appreciate you watching this video all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.